Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75317, The Mandalorian and the Child, which is written on the box in a very, very small font, which is just a little bit strange. But we do have the Mandalorian and the Child written in Mandalorian font up in the top corner, and they're number 113 and 114 out of all Brickheadz. And this set was released on August 1st, 2020. And it was available for pre-order for a while before that. It was revealed pretty early on. And like all 2 packs of Brickheadz, this one retailed for $19.99 in the United States. And this one had 295 pieces, which is a pretty decent amount for a 2 Brickhead set. And instead of being just the Mandalorian and the Child, it's actually the Mandalorian and the Child in his pod thing. And the back of the box shows him outside of the pod and with his ears reversed. And the left side of the box has nothing special, as well as on the top. I guess it shows you the actual size of that part, which, actually, fun fact, that piece was introduced in this set, so it is currently still exclusive to it, though it may get reused in the future. And the last thing, packaging-wise, are the instruction booklets, of which there are 2, and I really like the black and orange background for these. I think it works pretty well. And as far as in the back, you do have ads for all the summer Star Wars stuff. I believe everything's there, yeah. And that's that in that one. And in the Baby Yoda one, there is a 1-page ad for the Skywalker Saga game, and then your standard win thing, whereas the parts inventory's on that one. But yeah, that's all there is for packaging here. Let's take a look at the Brickheadz. So we'll start off with the Child Brickheadz, because he's probably the more interesting of the 2. This is actually the first way that you were able to get the Child in LEGO form, and it was the first revealed one too, though the Razor Crest does come out a month after this, and it'll be coming out in a couple days by the time this review is up. Yeah, it's a pretty good Brickheadzification of the character. I'm glad that they went with the pod, because I think you can remove him from the pod, but I think if it was just this, it would have felt too similar to Yoda. I mean, this one's probably a little bit more, honestly, probably a little bit more proportionally accurate, even for a regular Yoda, just because the original Yoda's head seems to be a little bit tall, but I don't know. This one is only a 2-stud tall head. It does use the Brickheadz eyes, which, you know, are customary for Brickheadz style, and you can swap the ears if you want him to look maybe a little bit more sad. I don't know, that's probably a better look for when he's just his regular appearance, and then, you know, when he's particularly happy or using the Force, he'll have his ears up like that. But I do like what they did with his collar there. I think that looks pretty good. He has both of his arms facing forwards, which maybe it would have been nice if one of them was just facing straight down and then the other one had his hand up like he was using the Force, but, you know, it is what it is, and he's built around a, little framework there that is 3x3, and he is able to sit right in his little pod here. It attaches with 2 jumpers, and he fits there. There's a little bit of space around him underneath, but, you know, it's not really visible when he's in it. He's obviously out of scale with the pod. He's obviously too big, but that's, you know, mainly because of the Brickheadz style. That is what Brickheadz is, and I can't really fault it for that. This is actually sort of, I think, the first time that we've ever gotten a Brickheadz in some sort of vehicle, so I guess that's interesting. But yeah, the overall design of the pod is pretty good. They do use these 3x3, like half dome or quarter dome pieces, and that works pretty well. And they use 2 large pieces here, which make up the majority of the shaping of the bottom there, and they do leave a little bit of gap right back here, where, you know, you can't really see anything in there, but like, you can tell it's there because it's black. And then it's a little bit weird that you can see these studs. It would have been nice if they found a way to be able to tile that off and then have, you know, this above a tile, just so you didn't have that weird gap with studs there, and that's also present on the back. But from most angles that you'd be viewing this at, that doesn't stick out too much, so it doesn't bother me, and I still think that this is a pretty well done Brickheadz. But, you know, just nitpicking, and during the build process you'll notice that, and it is a little bit weird. And the Mandalorian has cool. He reminds me a lot of the Boba Fett Brickheadz, which I did like, but I didn't end up buying. The overall design of the helmet looks pretty similar at first glance, the only difference being that instead of being a 1x4 tile, this is a 1x4 double wedge thing. But they do use the printed wedge pieces the same way that they did with Boba, and that works pretty well. And those are actually not attached by any studs, so they do wobble a little bit, but it's kind of just like locked in with a panel. If we pull that off, you can sort of see it. It just gets locked in there, and it's pretty effective. It works pretty well, and you're able to stick them back in and plop this back on top, and they just get, whoops, I didn't do that right. Yeah, like, no, I doesn't want to go back in. There we go. Alright, and there, now it is completely locked in place, and it clamps in pretty well, and as you can see, it's not too difficult of a building technique, but it's just kind of interesting the first time that you see it. We have a printed 1x2 cheese slope there with the blue. It gets that proper coloring in. This is obviously not him in his Beskar armor. The other side looks pretty good. It's got his kind of boring hand here. And I do like what they've done with the cape here. It bothers me that one gray, hollow stud is visible there. I mean, it would have made more sense for them to just use a 1x1 hollow stud and then a 1x1 tile. It wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been a little bit better. And then the other thing, I don't know why they used that stud there. They could have used a 1x1 plate, and that would have just made it work a whole lot better. You wouldn't have had that weird gap, but it is what it is, I guess. I'm not going to be viewing this from the back most of the time, so it's not going to bother me that much, but it did allow him to get get his weapon on there, which is important when viewed from the front. So, but I think they could have still done that and made it look a whole lot better from the back. But I'm not going to complain too much there. They did introduce that tooth plate in reddish brown here, which is cool, and I do like the way they built up his belt instead of just opting for a 1x4 printed tile. And over here is a little bit of detail for his legs, which those are a lot larger than they should be, but they're there. And his blaster pistol is kind of cool, I guess. I don't think he can actually physically hold this blaster because that sticks back too far. So, it's nice that they also gave him the blaster pistol. And here's the two together. They make a pretty good pair, and, they're both pretty good Brickheadz, and if you're fans of the Mandalorian show, and you like the Brickheadz style, then I think you'll like this. If you don't care about Brickheadz, you probably don't care. There's really nothing special here to make you particularly need this over any other Brickheadz set. So, I'm not going to go out of my way recommending this to absolutely everybody. I guess if you're a big fan of the Mandalorian, and you can't afford the Razor Crest, but you want some sort of Lego Baby Yoda, even if you don't like Brickheadz, this still might be a pretty good option for you, because it is pretty affordable. So, I guess I'll recommend it on that regard. But, other than that, if you like collecting Brickheadz, you'll like this. It's no worse than any others. And, in fact, I would say in some aspects it's a little bit better. Though it does feel a lot less polished than some of the Disney ones, like particularly the Little Mermaid ones. They're still way better than this. These aren't bad, though, and, for $20, I think that it's a pretty fair deal. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.